Okay, it was in July of 2009 that the Pope came out with this encyclical, Love in Truth, or Caritas in Veritate, and it's a call for world government, and it's a command to the Catholic under him, you must support the world government that's coming up. And it's been a year and a half, and the liberal United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, these are the people who run the Catholic Church in the United States, they have supported this call, and they have developed now programs to propagandize their own people into supporting this socialistic world government that the Pope wants. Here's the webpage for it, and they have action guides and study group lessons. Here's a study group lesson, 75 minutes, and you're to sit together and pray with a an altar, like a home altar you set up there with candles, and you're supposed to pray, Holy Spirit, give us a spirit of solidarity and make us one human family. And what do they do in these lessons that they're setting up? Are they talking about baptism and the dogmas of purgatory and Mary? And no, they're not talking about the Bible or their religion or any of that. They're talking about political action, setting up a world Soviet socialistic state. This is a action guide that's subversive. It doesn't have anything to do with the United States Constitution or our current setup of government. This is absolute political action. They're to pray for unity, and what they are talking about is political unity. And they're encouraging people to march out and do things like that politically. See, they've gone beyond just having the prior encyclical, which was Human Vitate or something like that, Human Life, where he was anti-abortion, and they all got out and they started marching against abortion, and they said, well, this is really a moral issue, and we can also talk about it because it's morals. But now it's open. They're absolutely in the realm of politics here, and it's not the realm of religion. They're telling everybody that they need to have a socialistic government. This is subversive political activity, and they should not have tax-deductible money to run basically communist cells at the churches. But that's what they're doing. Now, I went through the Pope's plan for world government, and I'll do it quickly here again. I'll review the things. He said there's a need to reform the United Nations organization and likewise of economic institutions and international finance so that the concept of the family of nations can acquire real teeth. He said it would have to have the authority to ensure compliance with its decisions from all parties. Furthermore, such an authority would need to be universally recognized and to be vested with effective power to ensure security for all. That's a security state. That's a political power authority. Now he wants it with subsidiarity in a stratified way, which means a Soviet setup where you have a local council and then a higher council and a higher council, a federated world government with a supreme Soviet at the top. And the thing is he's encouraging here is wealth redistribution. He's saying the civil order for its self-regulation also needed intervention from the state for purposes of redistribution. And he says the process of globalization, suitably understood and directed, open up unprecedented possibilities of large-scale redistribution of wealth on a worldwide scale. He wants to take money from one country and give it to another country. It also needs just laws and forms of redistribution governed by politics. And what is more, it needs works redolent of the spirit of gift. That means the smell of an empty wallet or the smell of a broken piggy bank. That means redistribution by politics, meaning the third world, billions of people get to vote to take your money. Economically developed nations should do all they can to allocate larger portions of their gross domestic product to development aid. It's all socialism on a world scale. And he wants it religiously guided. He's saying much, in fact, depends on the underlying system of morality. On this subject, the Church's social doctrine can make a specific contribution. Such an authority would need to be regulated by law, to observe consistently the principles of subsidiarity and solidarity, to seek and establish the common good, and to make a commitment to securing authentic, integral human development inspired by the values of charity and truth. The exclusion of religion from the public square, and at the other extreme, religious fundamentalism. That's a Bible-believing Christian, the fundamentalist. Anybody who's actually dogmatic in their beliefs, hinders an encounter between persons and their collaboration for the progress of humanity. So the Bible believer is a religious fundamentalist, but the Roman Catholic, who has a history of inquisition and killing millions of people down through the history of the world, they are not the fundamentalists. Why? Because they have such flowery language, you know. It is the duty of believers to unite their efforts with those of all men and women of goodwill, with the followers of other religions and with non-believers, so that this world of ours may effectively correspond to the divine plan, living as a family under the Creator's watchful eye. Is that what we're supposed to do? Did the Creator tell us to unify? Or did he tell us to break up when they tried to form Babylon? That's what the Creator told us to do. He split us up. So this moron is just making things up. He doesn't know what the Bible even says. What does he want this new government to do? To manage the global economy, to revive economies hit by the crisis, to avoid any deterioration of the present crisis and the greater imbalances that would result, to bring about integral and timely disarmament, food security, and peace, to guarantee the protection of the environment, and to regulate migration. For all this, there is an urgent need of a true world political authority. Listen to the things he wants to have the government run. Your economy, your life, disarmament. He's going to take your guns away. He's going to manage food allocation. The environment, that means your land. Migration, where you go, where you're not allowed to go. Look at that. Total political control and authority in the hands of this subsidiarity-minded top of the pyramid clique. And he wants to be part of it. He wants to be in on it, of course, at the very top. Well, what does the Bible have to say about this? Let's go and see what the Bible has to say, since that clown in the monkey suit running around with lace, on his dress, he wants to tell us what he thinks, and he's not at all guided by the Bible, even though he's posing as a religious leader. Is socialism what God wants? What does the Bible say? Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. That's the solution to the economic problem of the world. Stop coveting. Here's another one. Thou shalt not steal. You don't take money from one person and redistribute it to somebody else, because that's called stealing. Robin Hood was a robber. The rich and poor meet together. The Lord is the maker of them all. Proverbs 22. God made rich people. God made poor people. See that? God doesn't want everybody on the same economic level. He would have done that. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor. Got it? Nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. You don't give the guy who's poor a break because he's poor. He's to be treated fairly and evenly, the same as everybody else under law. World unity. Does God want world unity? All right, Genesis 10:32. These are the families of the sons of Noah after their generations in their nations, and by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. Notice that. Family, each family divided. And those families that are divided become nations. And that's God's plan for the world. Divided. And of course, those families end up becoming racial and ethnic divisions, and that's what God's in favor of as well. And men don't like that. They call that racism and nationalism. So what do? They want to unite. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. They went and built the Tower of Babylon. God is not in favor of that. They didn't want to be scattered. God wanted them scattered. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one. Well, why didn't he rejoice? Unity. No. And they have all one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Notice that. God's saying if they're not restrained, it's a bad thing. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Now imagine the economic downturn that created. But that's what the Lord was in favor of. The Lord was not in favor of them unifying. So God's plan is absolutely against what the Pope is pushing. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. This is God's plan for humanity, that humanity would be divided, separated, and that there would be bounds between the people. And of course, it's a New Testament doctrine as well, because Paul spoke of God has made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and hath determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation. Why? That they should seek the Lord. As soon as you get together, you throw the Lord out and you just look to one another for truth. It's all relative, and nothing has to do with what God said. What does the Bible say? Wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Lord. Separation. And touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. Revelation 18:4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. So, like old time, when God disrupted the people who were building that city and trying to get together, and they, in their own human effort, trying to build a utopia here on earth, God went down, stopped them from doing it, and it's going to happen again. These people are not going to be successful in building a new world order. They're only going to be successful in producing a hell on earth. And God help you, if you're not saved, to get saved today, because in this world there is no hope outside of Jesus Christ.